everybody, Dan Illman here, taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Monday, May the 29th, race number 8 at Anita. It's a really nice card at Anita on Memorial Day, but this is the main event. The Grade 1 $400,000 Hollywood Gold Cup, 3-year-olds and up, running 1.25 miles on the main track. Before we take a peek at this field, still a few hours left in our Memorial Day weekend sale at shop.drf.com. Get big savings on your favorite DRF handicapping products. Here's the field for the Hollywood Gold Cup. Bob Baffert has an enviable record in this race, and he's got two of the strongest contenders. The number 4, Defunded, who won the Californian last time out despite trouble. The number 1, Country Grammar, a horse that's campaigned all over the world and has banked almost $15 million. Let's throw up the Timeform US Pace Projector for this year's Hollywood Gold Cup, and Advantage Defunded, according to Timeform US. Gray Bar, very rare in North American dirt racing, has Defunded on the lead in a race that could have no pace whatsoever. And if Defunded breaks like Defunded did last time out, he's not going to get the lead, because he stumbled very, very badly or hopped at the gate very, very badly. But he usually likes to run near the front, and if he gets this sort of pace edge, it could be all over but the shouting. As for Country Grammar, he's a horse that is a little bit more tactical than I think he gets credit for. He can stay closer to the pace, I believe, than as we see on his past performances. And watching his races in Dubai and Saudi, it's not like he's coming from 100 lengths out of it. I think Flavien Prat's going to be very aggressive with Country Grammar, getting out of the gate just to get a position close to Defunded, and then hope that his superior stamina will wear Defunded down. Defunded is still a question mark at 1.25 miles. Not so for Country Grammar. He wants every step of the 1.25 miles. He looked very good winning the San Antonio in his final start last year. They ran him in the Saudi Cup again for the second straight year. He got beat less than a length. It was a race in Saudi, which is a 1-turn mile and 1/8, and he was tracking 5 wide on the outside. And when the speedball tried to get away from him turning into the stretch, Country Grammar just utilized his grinding gear. He's more of a 1.25 mile type horse. He got up for second. I think we should view the Dubai World Cup with a little bit of skepticism. That track at Meydan on World Cup evening seemed to play towards horses that were racing near the inside. Country Grammar, I think, broke from post position 14, was hung outside throughout, and really had no chance, being hard-ridden on the second turn. The winner, while he did go to the outside turning into the stretch, saved ground in last for the first 6 or 7 furlongs before getting out. I think Country Grammar's most recent poor performance was more due to the bias at Meydan than anything else. Getting back to 1.25 miles in North America in this race is really going to help him, and I think the Country Grammar can stay close to the pace. Senor Buscador is a very lightly raced 4-year-old. He's capable of better. He has a lot of questions to answer. He won the Grade 3 ACAC going 1 mile. He won the Caribou at Sunland Park 2 starts back going 1 mile and 1/16. Last time out in the Oaklawn Handicap was sort of his first class test at a 2-turn distance. I'm not going to count the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. He was overmatched in that race. I'm not really going to count the San Diego, where he was beaten by Country Grammar, stretching out in only his second start off of a lengthy layoff. Senor Buscador ran okay in that race. It said he was pinched at the break. I think it's more that he's not a very good gate horse. He was near the back. He had a look at it turning into the stretch, and he flattened out in the final 1/8 behind 3 pretty good handicap horses. I think the question for Senor Buscador is not only quality, but it's also distance. Does he really want to stay the 1.25 miles? I know he's a good 1-turn miler. Yes, this time I know he's a good turf horse. The major question for him is dirt. He hasn't raced on dirt since his career debut in July of 2020. He was off the board that day. And while he's done well on the turf in his career, he hasn't proven that he's really been a top-class turf horse either, sort of settling in the $80,000 optional claiming ranks in his last 2 races without winning. Yes, this time is a major question mark on dirt. Maybe he can show a little bit of pace here, but against these kind of horses going 1.25 miles on the main track, it's tough to make a case. Defunded is the number 4. We'll watch his most recent start, the Californian. This is a race where he hopped up in the air in the start at 1-5, and he had to spot the field some lengths. Defunded after that did everything he had to do perfectly. He wins by 3 over a pretty good horse in Royal Ship and Midnight Mammoth, who turns back and runs in Saturday's race of the day, the Triple Bend. 1.25 miles is a question mark for Defunded. He ran perfectly fine in the Big Cap 2 starts back, where he was up close on a very fast pace and only got beat 3/4 of a length by Stiletto Boy and Proxy, who came back to defeat Senor Buscador in the Oaklawn Handicap. he's way the horse to beat, Defunded, especially if this pace projector holds true. Overcame trouble last time out and might just get loose on the lead. Paroli's the number 5. This is another lightly raced 4-year-old. Here's his most recent start, going a 2-turn mile at Santa Anita. This is a second-level allowance race, and he worked out an inside-out trip. He's going to finish 3rd. He had won 3 in a row coming into this race, and he's yet to Beyer 90. So he's going to stretch out from a mile to a mile and a quarter. Might show a little bit more tactical speed and try to get up close to Defunded in here. And while he's been consistent for most of his career, this is a huge step up in class. Kiss Today Goodbye ran 4th last time out in the Californian behind Defunded. They had to be thrilled when Defunded hopped up in the air at the start. You'd think it would give Kiss Today Goodbye a little bit of a tactical advantage as he was tracking the pace in between horses, but he came under a ride on the 2nd turn and he passed some horses in the stretch. Like Country Grammar, I think this is the kind of horse that will stay all day long at a mile and a quarter. If this race comes down to stamina, I give Kiss Today Goodbye a little bit of an advantage over some of these other horses as he makes his 2nd start of the form cycle, and he does have some tactical speed. He's a horse at a price that you can consider in multiple race wagers. Before we get to my top selection, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Respect Country Grammar, respect Defunded. I'm going for a little bit of a price in here, and maybe if this is a horse that's a little too wacky for you to use up top, you could use maybe to try to split the favorites and exotics. Senor Buscador, I think, has some potential, but he has some ability. A mile and a quarter is a big question mark, and he's got to get out of the gate, but the race he ran last time out at Oaklawn, those are 3 pretty good horses that ran in front of him. He made a bid, he flattened out. It's now his 3rd start of the year. I think he's growing into himself. He's got to be a price under Luis Saez in the Hollywood Gold Cup. He'll be my top selection. We'll see if Baffert can do it again. He's got 2 of the main contenders, Defunded, Country Grammar, and the Hollywood Gold Cup. Good luck.